Hi everyone! After the stained wood ornament didn't really go as I initially planned the other day, I decided to try out acrylic paint directly onto the wood instead this time. I was thinking of doing some more traditional illustrations for Christmas. I wanted them to have this kind of 1950s vibe to them, some simple shapes and cute characters. I mean, I should have the holidays are coming Coke advert playing in the background. I was going for that type of commercial style. Now I had a rough sketch to gain a little courage before beginning to paint. Because the wood is untreated, overly wet paint fanned and bled just like the stain did. You can see that when I first go to paint the Rudolph's nose. But his nose glows, so I felt okay with that. From then on I worked with barely watered down acrylic paint. I kept a sheet of paper and tissue to the side just to test brush strokes before if I felt unsure, and to dry the brush between washes before adding the next colour. It's like the reverse of watercolour painting in a lot of ways. Well, going from that, honestly, it reminded me more of gouache painting in terms of aesthetic in the end. Because the paint was thick to apply, the blending isn't really massively smooth, which kind of worked with this 1950s illustration style. I had painted a little off-centre, so I added some baubles and holly leaves to the side to fill out the composition a bit more. Like with most art, I reduced the palette to try and make it a little more cohesive. I would say that this is more important the smaller your art is going to be. I wanted to match a lot of the colours as well to the colours that I've been working with on my tree up till now, which is mostly orange, brown, green, blue and gold. So I used them as the basis of where I wanted these two illustrations to be drawn from. For the second wood slice, I wanted to do a little kitten in a stocking because I'm going for that Professor Umbridge aesthetic to match my personality. I mean, she was a horrible woman, but I mean, I wouldn't have minded a few of those frolicking kitten dishes on my wall. They're just so cute, I just love it. Now, I changed up the colours to contrast the reindeer a little bit. I stuck with oranges and greens more this time. I think this might be obvious, but I'm going to say it anyway because I think it is important. If you're planning on making something that's going to match a counterpart, I do think it's important to keep that other object in your eyeline while you're working. It's like osmosis, you're picking up on colour tones by it just being visible. I think it's easy to think, yeah, I did it orange and red. But red is such a blanket term, an orange red rather than a purple red, or maybe this rose light pink red. These can all be called red. I think tones and colours and the blends within a colour can change your work massively, and unlike in digital art, you can't play with the hue and balance when you're painting physically. You're stuck with your choices pretty much. So I would recommend, if you're thinking I want it to match this other object, put that object in a visible place while you're working, and you'll find it far easier to recreate those colours. I think you're all going to comment, well, obviously, but if you're a lazy sod like me and you'll tell yourself, oh, I can guesstimate it, I don't need it there, and then you end up spending all this extra time trying to think of something that you could have just worked from the beginning. I'm talking to lazy people, so if you disagree, you're not lazy. Now, Doodle Stuff wondered if Father Christmas would make an appearance in any of these decorations. And I hadn't really found a place for him just yet, but I saw my opportunity here and I added him to the Christmas stocking. Again, like the stained wood piece, I attached a little eye pin onto the top of each of the slices so that I could thread some embroidery thread through and create a loop to attach it to the tree. I picked some red thread to match the illustrations. These were a really nice surprise. It's a good example of giving something another go if it doesn't work as you were hoping the first time. I think that's the real skill that you probably learn when you're doing art, really the most important behaviour that you establish and work on. Is perseverance. I don't think perseverance is really a widely respected or exciting trait to have, but if you want to get good at anything, you need to practice it a hell of a lot. And art is very good at exercising your perseverance. And every once in a while, you get a case like this, where you think, oh, why am I even bother doing this second go? It's probably not going to work either. And you end up making something that you're probably the happiest with over the last week of DIYs, which is how I feel with these pieces. I think I'm going to definitely make some more once these 12 days are over. I hope you enjoyed this somewhat more rambly video and the little painted wood slices I made. I'd love to hear what you would paint onto your wood slices. Maybe your favourite characters from the Christmas season? Are you a Father Christmas or Santa Claus kind of person? Or do you prefer reindeers and animals wearing little scarves and jackets like a Beatrix Potter illustration? I'd like to hear what you would like to see and what you would do. And that's it for today. I'll see you again tomorrow.